giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live. We're streaming live on YouTube. And of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! We back, we live, baby. Coming up, we will continue our Hindsight Series 2023, taking a look at this wide receiver room and why, this year is a stark difference doing this type of show than last year. I think the arrow was pointing up. Last year, it was a huge concern coming out of that season, but a lot of positives out of this wide receiver room. But we're going to talk about it. I got you covered from the bottom of the roster, obviously, to the top. And in the roundup, we got a shocker, man. A shocker in the coaching world that kind of jolted, I think potentially a domino effect. We'll have a domino effect on where some of these coaches go. We'll touch on that a little bit, including our own. And, it's the Senior Bowl, and the Cowboys have made their way down to the Senior Bowl. The Cowboys owners, let me say that, have made their way down to the Senior Bowl, and they do what they do, right? This is what they do down there. It's their annual word salad at the Senior Bowl where they let the games begin. Yeah, let them get. Oh, by the way, what's good, Bomb Squad?
Bomb Squad!
How we doing this morning? Hopefully everybody's good to go. I know a lot of the buzzwords that came out of the interviews yesterday got a lot of us riled up, including myself a little bit on Twitter, but I would not let that deter me from continuing the process of my show through the offseason. I know we could talk about it, and we will a little bit. And if you guys want to call in, you can 351-999-3787. But y'all, I'm sick of the talking from them. So, but call in, give me your thoughts if you want. Let's hit this roundup real quick. And we're going to talk a little bit about what's going around the coaching world, and I will briefly touch on those damn Jones boys, man.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time.
It's time! It is time for...
It's time for the Morning Roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Let me talk to you.
Yesterday, this popped up in the middle of the day. Breaking news, Ben Johnson turns down the Washington job and is returning to Detroit to continue to be their OC. Low key, you can view this two ways. One, you can say it's good for Dallas if you're one who says, well, we can get Dan Quinn to go take that job, or Seattle, and we can kind of get a different defensive coordinator up in here. Or you can go the other way and say, well, damn, Ben Johnson going back to Detroit, that means Detroit is still going to have that pretty damn good offense, huh? This is a dub for Detroit, no doubt about it. Ben Johnson is one of the most sought-after offensive coordinators for good reason. You see how they came out in that game. Then it went sideways for sure, but I wouldn't really put that on Ben. Nonetheless, I never thought Detroit would just fall off the face of the earth next year anyway, but I really don't think that's going to be the case now, especially if Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson return. More continuity, a franchise that obviously is run the right way. I expect those guys to be right at the top of the NFC. Again, top 4 type team and a tough out. Big dub for Detroit. Big dub for Detroit. Big loss for Washington to me. But hey, unless they go out there and they get Mike McDonald. Now, let me say that. Mike McDonald also had an interview with Washington, and the Seattle jobs are still open, right? Those are the two ones. And it sounds like defensive coordinators are the ones that are open or are leading candidates to get these jobs. Bobby Slowick is going back to Houston. Ben Johnson's going back to Detroit. I don't know if what's going on over there in Washington, but Mike McDonald and Dan Quinn and I think Aaron Glenn are all three potential candidates to land one of these jobs. And Washington met with Dan Quinn and had a really good second interview with him. And, word is he could potentially be a favorite for that job. But once again, we're kind of on wait and see approach with Dan Quinn in this Washington situation. But it'd be nice, you got the Joneses down there at the Senior Bowl. It kind of cracks me up. I'm just gonna go ahead and just a hard intro on this one. Look, how many, and this is a real question though, how many owners are at the Senior Bowl throwing up their offseason plans? Serious question. I get that general managers are probably supposed to be there and scouts and things like that, but how many owners are at the Senior Bowl throwing up their off-season plans? Seriously. Throwing around words like all-in, contracts, cap, pie, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes. I'm not trying to be funny here. I'm dead serious. How many owners are at the Senior Bowl doing this? Because if there's other owners, then if there's like 5, 6, 7, 10 other owners, then this is just normal. One, nobody else. Nobody has any word of Washington ownership being there, Phillies ownership being there, Patriot. Who else is down? Is Kraft? Is Kraft up in the press box acting like he watching film on these dudes? Imagine Jerry Jones watching film. Because he's the general manager. I got to make sure I know. No? Okay. I was just curious because this is weird to me. And he starts to throw around the all-in, right? That's the big thing right now. And I know we're all going to talk about Cowboys and Jerry Jones, all in. And the very first thing I thought of, man, and y'all know me, Hove is my guy. I thought about, look, we don't believe you. You need more people. Then my guy, Brother L, hit me up. And he hit me with this. And I'm like, man, it's so fitting.
That's cool. I know they're trying to bamboozle you. Spending millions on me, they're trying to confuse you. I had to talk to myself. Hope you used to. It's politics as usual. You know how we do.
You know how we do. Rockefeller. Forever. It's just politics as usual, y'all. I'm not even going to sit here and try to... By the way, did you read, listen, hear, whatever, how you get your information from the Cowboys ownership down at the Senior Bowl where no other owners are at? However you get your information. Did you happen to read everything or listen to everything? I mean, this dude... You can't decipher any of that anyway. He couldn't even be direct with his all in. It wasn't like, hey, we going all in. I'm going to go out here and do da-da-da. It had all these weird connotations around it with contracts and our own and this and that. Ignore it. It's politics as usual. Negotiations through the media have begun. And this is how he moves. We know it. I'm not about to sit here. I'm chilling. Let me take a sip real quick. I'm not going to sit here and get upset and yell. It's politics as usual. And if you really think about how they move when it comes to this, whether it be from a coach, whether it be with a player, usually starts at the Senior Bowl. You remember last year or 2 years ago, whenever it was? Well, Jerry, you got Kellen Moore and you got Dan Quinn doing all these interviews, and Mike McCarthy hasn't quite gotten it done yet. What do you think about this? Well, I think we got 2 head coaches on the team. Well, Jerry, what do you think about, Mari Cooper and contract and everything, or Steven is who it was? Well, the pie, and we'll figure these things out and all this and all that. That's where it all starts, right here in Mobile, right? They say the draft starts in Mobile. Well, for Dallas, all the BS starts in Mobile. So I'm not gonna sit here and get crazy. This is what they do. I could say I don't believe it. We need more people. We know that. But in reality, it's politics. For whatever reason, within the organization that moves through the media in this way. Hate Philly. The Howie Roseman and them, are they out here talking about contracts and everything? We didn't even know they moved. Kellen Moore popped up as AOC out of nowhere. Vic Fangio pops up as AOC out of nowhere. Jalen Hurts gets his contract. We heard no word of it. We can key and laugh at him all we want about getting Kellen and Shaq and all that. Right? We can laugh at him all they want. But the way they've moved compared to how we've moved over the last 15, 20 years, it's netted them a ring and a bunch of Super Bowl appearances and all this other stuff. But we special. We special. We better than them up there, huh? No, we not. Because we operate through politics. We don't operate as if this thing is a football organization. So I'm not going to get upset. But I did want to bring that up because I know that is what everybody, that's going to be the big talk today. I'm not going to let that consume my entire show because I don't care what you say. Seriously. Actions, right? The cliche, actions speak louder than words. The problem is, I think they enjoy their words more than their action. I don't care. But I do know you guys do, and I do know you guys have some things to say. And I got Banks on the horn, so let's wrap the Banks real quick and get his thoughts on this. What's good? Good morning, Banks.
What's going on, Sky? Hey, man. I know you say you're not gonna get upset, man, but I'm upset, man.
No, I'm not gonna go crazy on y'all. This is annoying and frustrating with me, Banks. But what I don't want to do is flip the furniture, break the TV, screaming. Look, dog, like this is what they do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. It's just frustrating, man. Especially after the last 2 years, but after I think they kind of feel the heat. And I think that's why they're talking. I mean, I know they always talk, but I think it's, it seems like they feel the pressure of the fans. At least they talk that way. But them saying going all in, that don't mean nothing to me. After this past season, man, I'm just kind of on that, that wait and see. There's no hope. But, I don't care who they go out and sign. I'm going to get excited. You know what I'm saying? That's my squad. But, like we say, everything is, it's the coach around there, man. But, I'm just tired of them talking, especially after Jerry, what he said last week about, hey, we're being talked about, we're doing something right, and that's all they care about. Like you said, they just want to hear their own words, man.
Yeah.
So, hey, man, I guess we'll find out. But hey, Sky, on the real note, they don't deserve us as fans, man. They don't deserve y'all as content creators, man. And the work y'all put in, man. They just don't deserve it, man. Honestly, but
yeah, it's tough. It's a tough relationship to be in, man. But I say it all the time. As a creator, which is kind of, I think we're going beyond that at this point, but I feel like I have an obligation to cover the team in a way that the networks don't. That's the main reason why I did this. I never got into this to do exactly what they do, because that's easy. I can cover drama and do all this and berate everybody and all. Nah, man, we're not covered correctly. I still don't think we are, especially since you got new, hot, what was it, fake take media now. So I really feel like it is more of an obligation to make sure this thing is right.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I just know the way things have been going, man, it just kind of make it difficult. You trying to keep some anger out of it and certain other things, man. So, man, all y'all, man, I appreciate what y'all do, man.
Thanks, man.
I got in my mode. I don't want to hit nothing by the Cowboys, man, but I try my best to tune into y'all, man, because it's a different way it's put out there. So
I appreciate that, Banks.
All right.
Yeah, I get it. That's why I said I ain't gonna fight you. I forget who it was, Twan or somebody called in and said, man, I'm done. I'm done rooting for him or whatever it was. Let me mute all this. My bad, y'all. And I'm like, look, brother, I feel your frustration. I'm gonna continue to cover the team though, and bring and come correctly at that. That's the main point. But if you're out, boy, I promise you're only gonna make it harder on yourself if you just halfway out. Because you know how we are, man. You know how the Cowboys are. Yeah, history shows that is some heartbreak down there. But would you say toxic? It's like a drug or whatever. I guess it is, man. I guess it is, and it ain't because of the Joneses, right? I forget. Somebody say, we buy into the Jones. No. I've been tuned this dude out when it came to that. I don't buy into his what he says about the Cowboys. Buy into what my eyes say. Buy into what your eyes say. And if everybody disagrees, then you just disagree. But don't. It ain't because of what the Joneses say. That's for damn sure. Let me get one more. Hey, MJ, I want to get to you later, bro, because we're going to talk about these receivers. But let's get one more that we're going to jump into these receivers. Good morning, 804. I'm all right. Let me bring you in here.
Can you hear me?
Yep, got you loud and clear.
Okay, cool. Man, this season, man, it was really a letdown. It really was.
Yeah.
And I can definitely understand what people are saying as far as, okay, I can understand where they bash the players. Sure, they didn't get ready to play. Sure. But I'm kind of on this wave. I've been watching you guys for a little bit. I've been watching you and Voch for a minute. I'm kind of on the wave of kind of what Toxic is talking about. Like, you can't really overcome this. Like, it's so difficult.
It's hard, man. Yeah.
When your owner is doing this stuff. When your owner is doing this type of stuff. When they're negotiating. When they're in charge of who they're paying, who gets to stay, who gets to come, who they draft. They have too much power. I just wish that, and it'll probably never happen. I just wish like the commissioner or something would like pass a bill that, hey, we need to run these organizations as a properly run franchise. I just wish they would do that. It would never happen though, because Jerry. But
no, this is good. Cowboys are good for the NFL, man. They're good for the NFL. We've become kind of the villain in a sense, but more like the Joker, where everybody laughs at the Joker, right? They don't really take the Joker seriously. But he's the funny guy. He can be evil sometimes, but he's basically a clown. Good for box office. Always an adversary to everybody else in the league. Yeah, we're the Joker of the NFL.
Oh, that makes me so sick. That makes me
so
sick.
why would
Goodell,
take away ownership when we're a cash cow? And if the Cowboys are winning or they're in the media, we got the most fans. When they're losing, we got the most fans that hate us. So it's a win-win for the league for sure.
Man, that's very disheartening. So no change anytime soon. It seems apparent, unfortunately.
No, we got to catch that lightning in the bottle, man. And that's what I try. Like I'm trying to figure out how can we, stack on top of these teams and catch that lightning in the bottle. Because I've said it when I first started this. Well, we're going to have to win in spite of, not because of we have a well-run organization. We're not going to win because we have a well-run organization. I don't care how much you hate a certain player or coach. You can't deny that. This isn't a well-run organization.
As far as going all in or whatever their version of going all in is, like you said last year, this was their version of going all in.
Mm-hmm.
What they need to do, since they're already a draft and developed team, I feel like some of these players that are up for contract that can be somewhat replaceable, we should just go ahead and try to get something for them rather than just let them walk for nothing. That way, at least you can free up money in your cap so that way you can get free agents. Like, that would be the smart thing to do, in my opinion. Man,
I would love for an offseason where the script is flipped. See, we're so easily satisfied with what happened last offseason with the trades, right? But what you're saying is actually how a lot of some other teams have moved as well, right? Where, hey, we're flipping certain guys and we're recouping, whether it's a veteran player or a young up-and-coming player or it's some high-level draft picks, or we're flipping our own high-level draft picks for better players. I said it yesterday. Find me the time that's happened in the last 25 years. We just haven't. I did a show a few years ago. I don't think Steven is respected in that manner when it comes to trying to flip a player or something like that. So I don't have confidence in that. And that sucks because you go look around the league, in L.A. with the Rams, Philly, Kansas City, San Fran, like you say, damn, they know how to flip dudes. They are or picks or et cetera, et cetera. We don't do that. So we got to make sure that we're able to this is what we do. We got to make sure we're able to get a quality player, but we're not going to give up picks for it. Or we're going to sign a quality player, but we're not going to spend money on it. So we're kind of shopping at TJ Maxx and whatnot. And we're also in the trade market shopping with that. I don't know if you saw my show last year, the 30-plus free agents, the Quinn, the Gilmore, the Hankins, like the low-risk, high-reward types. That's where we're at, as opposed to saying, well, let me go get an A.J. Brown. Let me go get a Christian McCaffrey. Let me go get a Chris Jones or whatever. We don't live in that world no more because we're scared.
Right. They don't want to get burned or something. They're just hesitant, and I hate it. Mm-hmm. I hate it. It's aggressive wins in this league. It wins all the time, and they're just scared. They're gun shy. Yeah. Appreciate the call, Sky. It was a good call. I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate it, man. I've covered about every aspect of team building because I love this part of the offseason as an NFL fan. I tell you this all the time. I've covered every aspect of it, man. From trades out for the Cowboys, trades in, free agencies being signed, we've covered it all here ad nauseum into the very last detail. And what I noticed when you get on the internet, man, people don't care about nuance and context and things like that. We have a very short attention span as humans as it is. We need microwavable things. We need it to be easy to digest and understand. And there are so many people that are like, well, I don't understand why everybody calls out the Joneses. What do you mean? I don't got enough time to explain it to you, sir. If you can't understand why the only two teams to not make the damn NFC Championship game in the 2000s were run by Dan Snyder and the Joneses, you will never understand. And I'm not going to spend my time trying to explain it to you if you don't want to hear about it. I don't care. All right, if you don't care, then cool. Because you're doing exactly what they want you to do. I'll leave it at that. Now let's move forward. I hate that the start of the shows these last 2 days had to be centered around that because it's just ugh. I hate that. I'm not going to be trying to do this every single day, every single month for the next 4 or 5 months till we get. I'm not trying to do that. Let's talk about what happened with these wide receivers, man. I think there is a little bit of positivity we can at least leave this show with in reviewing said room, okay? Hindsight 2023, the wide receiver room, which was, again, a stark difference than last year. Remember last year we were coming off of Noah Brown and Michael Gallup, one leg ACL, and James Washington, shouts out to Law. James Washington was in that room and out of that room, and T.Y. Hill. It was a mess reviewing this room. It was a mess. But not this year, man. Even all the way down to the Cowboys' 7th round pick, Jaylen Brooks, out of South Carolina. Like what I saw from Jaylen Brooks coming into the season, or this season. It wasn't like he played a whole ton, but for a 7th round pick, because of all the blowouts, he was getting some tick. And even when we had the injury, I think the Cooks in week 2 or whatever it was, he was playing. They didn't get targeted or anything like that, but he was out there, which shows that there was trust. And when he was out there, I saw some toughness. I saw some grittiness. I saw a guy who understands, hey, one, I'm a 7th round pick. I'm not the most athletic. I'm not the fastest. but I'm going to work hard and I'm going to climb the ladder. And he did that. He played 77 snaps this year, which again, for a 7th round pick, I'm not scoffing at. In a room that's a deep room, if we keep it in the bean, he worked his way on that field. And what I really love about him is he seems to have that mental makeup to be able to stick around. And it started in camp, right? Fighting from the bottom of that roster and trying to develop relationships with his quarterback. And Brooks talked about that relationship. And this is what was also cool is Brooks talked about that relationship with Dak Prescott, which again, 7th round pick, might not even make the team, might not even have a part of this offense. They actually developed a pretty good relationship, and he spoke about that with, I believe it was her name. I can't remember her name. She's a new hire over in .com, but she does good work with these. But listen to Brooks talk about the relationship and how he's become better because of it.
It's a great relationship. He's gonna have me over at his house to try some food and everything. So, man, I appreciate that. He's a great leader. He's a real down to earth guy. So. Man, I appreciate him.
How has he helped you build that confidence up?
It was one of the first times I was running routes on there. And basically, he threw a slant behind me. He was like, now, JB, why did I throw it behind you? Because if there's a hole player right there, I don't want to get you killed going in there. So, he'll just say so many little things, but, little things always add up to a greater cause and a bigger picture. So, just him always just, he'll whisper and everything. And I had a cadence breakdown today in the offense meeting. He was like, I said it right, but I didn't say it fully right. And he was like, JB, you gonna think I'm getting on you, but, this is what you really, so, just the little things, y'all was in my ear. And during the summer, when we was training in Atlanta, he always made sure he was throwing to me as well. So, like, that was a big thing. And I was like, okay. I see that he actually cared. That's one thing you might be wondering as a 7th round. Like, does a QB is he really trying to get with me or, so that's something I learned early on. And
so knowing that you have a QB that has so much faith in you, how does that make you feel? I mean, that's got to make you feel pretty confident.
Sure, it makes me want to play even harder.
That was a good, nice interview. You kind of get inside of JB. They call him JB. Jaylen Brooks' head as a player, as a young player, as a rookie. And again, didn't play a ton, but when he did get out there, you saw him make some tough catches. We remember the big play he had against the Giants, I think in the second game where it was like a tip, and he caught the pass on 3rd down and converted. Had a few other catches when who was it? Cooper Rush came in the game, and you could just kind of see it, right? Like the development of this young kid. And I'm kind of excited to see him take that next step and see if he can continue to climb the ladder. Now, the room is going to still be competitive, and I like that. I do. And I think it's going to be competitive because of the first 3 characters I'm going to be talking, not characters, first 3 players I'm going to be talking about all showed some improvement, including Kavante Turpin. I went into the season this year asking to see more of Turpin on offense. And to be fair, we did. Year 1 Turpin, he only played 65 snaps and he accounted for 0 touchdowns. Year 2 Turpin played 155 snaps and he had 4 total touchdowns, a rushing touchdown and 3 receiving touchdowns. Wasn't targeted a whole lot. We could argue, hey, maybe we wanted to see a little bit more Turpin, and there was times I did, flat out. I felt like this guy can always just break open a game because of his speed and his explosiveness. But I think Turpin was better as a receiver this year than he was as a returner, and it was opposite last year for obvious reasons. But when he was targeted, which wasn't a whole lot, only 18 of them, 126 quarterback rating going his way. And you would hope going into year 3, they keep opening up the offense with him. Because I think he has that speed factor, that explosiveness factor that, again, can break open a game at any given point. Now, to be fair to the coaching staff, because I don't know, I'm not there, and what I do know is year 1, getting the playbook down was a little tough. You had a Kellen Moore offense, which really put a lot of stress on receivers, and you had a very young, inexperienced, and not like high quality talent at the receiver position. Not saying the dude doesn't have talent, but you know what I mean? We didn't have a bunch of CeeDee Lambs running out there. It was CeeDee Lamb, and Noah Brown, and Washington, and Gallup, and Tolbert, who didn't know how to line up on the line of scrimmage, and we'll get to him in a second. And Turpin, who just came off the USFL, and it's not like he was able to get the playbook down. Year 2, things are a lot easier on these wide receivers. Another year in the NFL, it felt like he did pick up that playbook a little bit better, and I'm hoping in year 3, we see him utilize a little bit more. 12 receptions, I think that's a little low. I feel like for a guy like him, I would like to see him in the 20s. I think he has some ability if he makes one guy miss, and I know we're going to key and laugh at that because he ain't done that much as a returner. But if he does, he can take it to the crib. But we did see his explosiveness downfield. 2 of his 3 touchdowns were over 20 yards, or over 25 yards. Deep balls downfield. And we even seen him make some tough catches too, get hit, make some tough catches. So I don't know how y'all feel, Cowboys Nation, about Turp, but I loved his improvement. I think not only his improvement physically, like on the field, his production, but clearly he improved in the film room because they trusted him more to do more this season, and potentially an indictment on the playbook last year. But I'm excited for Turp. I think next year, yes, maybe wide receiver still in play here, but it doesn't matter. I still think he has a part of this offense. And hopefully in year 2 under Mike McCarthy, and this is another reason why it's annoying that it took year 4 to let Mike McCarthy run his offense. 4. It could be in year 3. It could be in year 4 of Mike running his offense. But, I digress. Year 2 of it, my hope is that, all right, we get back to the barn, we tweak some things. Hey, this doesn't work. We got to fix this. And he's a part of it. Hey, let's continue to get this kid involved a little bit more. I agree, Special K. He was definitely a better receiver than he was a returner this year. And it was flipped last year, right? Went to the Pro Bowl as a returner. Had some big plays. I held him to a little bit higher standard because he didn't score a touchdown, but I get it. He definitely flipped the field a lot for us. But, man, I would like to see him involved a little bit more next year. Now you got Jaylen Brooks, Kavante Turpin, Jaylen Tolbert. I think those are 3 quality young guys to develop under these vets. I do. Tolbert made some huge strides in year 2. Year 1, he didn't know where the line of scrimmage was. He came out, said it, man, hey, I was thinking way too much. There was a lot of pressure, for being honest, on Tolbert, and hey, I'm part of that. I'm part of probably putting that pressure on him because I thought he could come in here and be a wide receiver 3, right? Hold it down till Gallup got back, and he could just never get it down, period. So I put that pressure on Tolbert, and that's on me. It's my bad. That ain't on me, but that's my bad. Not understanding the situation with the playbook and all that. Because I truly do believe if he had a McCarthy-style offense, I don't think it would have took that damn long. But it did. And he struggled with the expectations, and he struggled with this first year in the league. But you saw it almost right away for Tolbert, y'all, at camp. almost right away, he just took off. Dude was less thinking. He was heralded for how he was studying in the film room. He was following Brandon Cooks around, and we're going to talk about Cooks. He was following him around, and you saw that rub off. And he came out his second year, 22 receptions, 268 yards, and a couple touchdowns. And one of the things that, you can say, well, if you had to kind of give a synopsis on Tolbert's year, I would say he was a guy that was reliable when the play broke down for Dak. He was a reliable guy, strong hands, contested catch moments. Anytime Dak went into the scramble drill, he was finding Tolbert. Tolbert making sliding catches, jump catches. He really gained the trust of Dak to the point. I mean, it was one point in time, I know in Philly, he went to Tolbert on the fourth down. Yeah. So I can only imagine year 3, another year getting stronger in the weight room, another year getting better as a route runner and understanding the NFL game. I could definitely see Tolbert growing into a reliable wide receiver in that room. Maybe not a big time guy, right? But somebody that can step up when called upon. Will he ever elevate past a wide receiver 3? That's TBD. That's to be decided. We'll see on that one. I think he has the talent. I don't know that he necessarily has that top tier talent. I wouldn't go that far. But hey, man, we've seen guys in this offense, right? In the Mike McCarthy offense, we've seen the James Joneses and Greg Jennings and Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb. These guys weren't these all-world talent wide receivers, but these guys were tough, hard-working, and they took advantage of their opportunities in an offense that is very friendly to wide receivers. And all of these guys, when their names were called, when it was time to either in a game or a season, hey, man, we got to kind of lean on you a little bit, they stepped up to the plate. And I think that Tolbert can be a guy like that. Whether he's going to be a 1,000-yard receiver, I don't know. But 600 yards, 5 touchdowns type, I think he can definitely progress into that consistently. He has the work ethic. He has the talent. The playbook is much more favorable for these guys. And as long as he has a quarterback, right, that's competent to get him the rock, I don't see why Tolbert can't continue to keep developing. And that's why, for me, Tolbert, Turpin, and Brooks, if there's a silver lining to take away, there's a bunch of them, honestly, but if there's something to take away that you can be excited about coming out of the season, these young guys right here, man, this is something to keep our eye on moving forward. There's something to keep our eye on. Jaylen, Turpin, and Tolbert. At camp, we know what Cooks is. We know what C's like. Whatever receiver they may draft is also going to be a part of this. But my eyes are going to be on these guys to see how they are in years 3 for Turpin and Tolbert and year 2 for Brooks. Let me ask y'all this: of the 3, because I think there's like legitimate excitement for them to see how they go. If you had to rank between the 3, if you had to rank them of guys you're most excited to see moving forward between Brooks, Tolbert, and Turpin, how would you guys rank them? If you had to rank them between these 3, because they're obviously Turpin has another year, Tolbert's on a rookie deal, Brooks on a rookie, so they're all going to be here. I would go Tolbert, Brooks, and Turp. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because I do, at the end of the day, right, while I'm excited to see Turpin, I understand that he still isn't a guy that's going to ever be a 60, 70, 80 reception guy. He's likely going to live in 20 range. Whereas Tolbert and Brooks, if they continue to develop, those are the type of guys that can be, you need 3 receivers nowadays anyway. But guys who are 40, 50 reception guys, if they were to turn into something. Let's see. Tolbert, Brooks, Turp. Tolbert, Brooks, Turp. Tolbert, Brooks, Turp. A lot of Tolbert, Brooks, Tolbert, Turpin, Brooks. Brooks, Tolbert, Turp. It's a lot of tongue twisters, low key. Tolbert, Turp, Brooks, and you're throwing in Bryant. Yeah. I'm not Martavis Bryant. Whatever. I mean, I don't even include this dude on the team until we get to camp or something and we see something. He's just kind of an invisible type of dude at this point. Brooks, Tolbert, Turp. Brooks is getting a lot of love too. Brooks and Tolbert, I can see the back and forth with those two guys. I feel like they both have a high work ethic. They're obviously both young guys. I would say Tolbert is there's more of a physical aspect to it. When I say physical, I think he's more physically gifted, faster, more nimble. But again, there's something about having those gritty, tough. Yeah, I might run a 4.6, but I'm gonna block my ass off, or I'm gonna make this tough catch, or I'm gonna run hard. Like, there is something to that. You need some of that in a room, no matter what position it is. Lunch pail type guys. But that doesn't mean my man ain't athletic. I've seen him make amazing catches, but you wouldn't, if you did like an athletic scale, he's not gonna tip the scale type. I'm looking for Tolbert to have 40 catch season. I think that can be the case, Oscar, if we don't attack the position. Now, y'all know me and Foots talked about a guy at the Senior Bowl right now, and there's a couple of them, by the way. I can't wait to talk to Foots next week. There's a couple young bucks down there, boy, I like. That I think could come in here and take this next player position. Michael Gallup. So Michael Gallup just finished his second year of a 5-year, $57 million deal, $27 million guaranteed, which, hey, shouts out to my man for getting the bag. Boy, even Michael Gallup was shocked. They asked Michael Gallup about his contract. He said, hey, when they called me, I was like, what? You want to do what? Yeah, hey, sign me up. Shouts out to him getting that bag, man. But boy, how goofy do they look. Hey, that Gallup plane has landed, y'all. That plane has landed. I think we got about as much as it is what it is, MG13, big dog. He went out strong, though. I'll give him that, man. He went out strong in that Green Bay game. Caught all 6 of his targets. It was the most snaps Michael Gallup played since week 3 of the season. Prior to that, though, they was phasing Michael Gallup out of this offense, man. And rightfully so. It just wasn't it for him no more. He kind of morphed into your wide receiver 4. And if Michael Gallup's your wide receiver 4 and we're not really looking at the expectations that he's supposed to hold and what they expected from him, you don't really bat an eye. But that wasn't he wasn't paid and brought here to be wide receiver 4. In 5 of his last 6 games, and this is not a typo, in 5 of his last 6 games, Michael Gallup had 13 receiving yards. What you mean, like 13 in every game? No. 13 receiving yards total. Had career lows in touchdowns, contested catch percentage. When you targeted him, it was only an 88 quarterback rating. And the big one there, contested catch percentage. That's what Michael Gallup's supposed to be. He's never going to be crisp route run open guy. And there's where's my Professor O in the building with this stat? I know he got it somewhere. I seen it going throughout the season. In one-on-one situations, open rate, I'm not 100% sure, but I know it was up there. Michael Gallup was like dead last. Yeah, we can't do that, bro. We can't run that back on year 7. And here's why, though. I think it's fairly easy to replace Michael Gallup, right? This isn't some hard guy to replace. And I think he can obviously be in-house if we keep him in the bean. I think his role can be replaced in-house or in a draft. I was just kind of teasing some of these players down there at the Senior Bowl. And that's just the Senior Bowl. Yeah, man. Yeah, I think that plane is landed. If you wanted to talk about contract, his contract, I think he's supposed to be taking up around like $14 million or something like that on the cap hit is what I'm getting at. But if you move on from him, you do save, I think, over half of that on the cap. You have to deal with some dead money, though, in 2025, a higher dead money than I like. But that's the bid that they made when they restructured his contract to save $7 million. And I think we're going to know fairly quickly on what they do. If you told me, or if you asked me right away, hey, do you think they're going to move on from Gallup? I would say right away without thinking, oh, yeah. I mean, you look in this wide receiver room, look what you can save. You look how easy I think you can upgrade. I think it's a no-brainer. But this is the Cowboys. And a decision is going to have to be made before the league year because then he's due X amount of dollars. So we should know if they designate Michael Gallup a June 1st cut. And that's what it would have to be. Now, here's the thing. You don't get that money till June 1st. But boy, I find it hard to believe you just going to run. And this is the thing. Like, this ain't shit on Michael Gallup. Let's remove our fandom hat for a quick second here. I find it hard to believe you're going to bring this guy back who, in his own words, at training camp said, yeah, man, Jaylen Tolbert, he might be coming for my job. Well, he done came for your job, and it's his. All right, maybe they go compete, right? I think he going to get it. Based off of the way things happened toward the back half of the season, that second half of the season, it was clearly those guys felt better about Jaylen Tolbert. Not to mention, if they draft a guy, he also going to come in here and likely compete with Michael Gallup. So now we talking about keeping a dude that where you could save $8-9 million, whatever it is. You keeping a wide receiver 4, 5, 6 on the books for that. Hey, man, that's just doing way too much. So anything is possible. They can run this thing back with Gallup, but I mean, that would be dumb. I mean, I would ask y'all, but I'm pretty sure their consensus here is, yeah, Michael Gallup, thank you for your contribution, sir. I wish you best of luck elsewhere, correct? I mean, that has to be the consensus in Cowboys Nation, right? I'm moving on from Michael Gallup. All jokes aside, because we had some fun with him, right? One leg and all this other that. Like, yeah, he went out there, he fought, he blocked, he did all this stuff, and I think he had a, for personal, as just personally speaking, not necessarily, looking at historic figures at the franchise, but for him personally, I would say, got the bag, had a couple good seasons. Hey man, good start to your career. Let's see if a change of scenery will help you out. But I'm pretty sure we're all like, hey, see you, Gallup. Just a comedian on the bench. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them, Slim. It's a whole bunch of them. Me and Foots, we talked about Leggett. That's big fan of Leggett. I don't know if he'll be there. There's the Georgia kid, the Michigan kid down there right now. Look, you can upgrade from Michael Gallup, y'all. That's what I'm getting at. We can upgrade from Michael Gallup. All right, let me save the last two real quick. Let's get back to the horns. Hold tight, Marv. I got you. I promise I got you, dog. I just want to get through these wide receivers first. Strap to B Bird. What's up, OG?
Hey, nothing much, man. How you doing today, bro?
I'm good, man. It's so funny. The start of this show, I was anticipating hearing from you, OG. I really was. Like, this the type of convo right here where OG will hit us with some wisdom. What's up with you?
Yeah. So I'll just say that Michael Gallup, man, he should be thinking of Amari Cooper for his contract because they definitely tried to cover for that. Cooper trade, and they went and signed him. So that's kind of what happened there. It wasn't necessarily because of what he did, because he's coming off a major injury. We never should have made that decision.
That was one of the shockers, bro, to sign him to that deal coming off that injury. Yeah. And he wasn't even all that anyway. Prior to it just was a bit shocking to me. And now what is he, wide receiver 5? 6?
Well, he's the highest paid wide receiver on our team too. To beat that, right?
How do you bring that back? And even if you say, oh well, we'll rip up the contract, why would you even want to rip up the contract and bring him back? For what?
Yeah, the production is just not there for whatever money. It just
the ability is no longer worth it. Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And also too, the Cowboys, he benefited from the Cowboys loving to shop at the scratch and dent appliance store too. Because if somebody's hurt, man,
Thrift
they want to go in and get Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
got a dent in the refrigerator, get $100 off, stuff like that.
Instead of playing my "Here Comes the Money" song around free agency, I might have to play that. What's the group that does? I'm gonna pop that tag, $100 in my pocket. I'm gonna have to play that song. We thrift shop. That's what we do. We thrift shop.
Hey, so I'll tell you this. I really like our wide receiver room. I thought that everybody besides CD should have got more targets. You know what I'm saying? I thought we underutilized everybody. I thought we Cooks, Tolbert, and Turpin, especially Cooks and Turpin. I thought they had some explosions, and they did well. There was too many games where we didn't see anything from Turpin in the passing game, and sometimes Cooks, the same thing with him too. So it was just I just thought that we could have got the ball, and Tolbert showed up every time he threw him the ball, man. So I just thought that they could have gotten a little bit more targets to kind of even out the offense a little bit.
Yeah, I was surprised it took that long actually to say, all right, let's get Tolbert, going here. I think they gave Michael Gallup a fair shot, but to their credit, they saw it and they said, yeah, it's time for Tolbert, and they evened out their snaps and to the point where Tolbert was out snapping Michael Gallup towards the end of the season. So I think they understood.
Now, one thing I'll tell you, man, I know it's going to sound kind of crazy, but I really think that they are going to be aggressive in free agency. And
I don't know that that's I don't know that that's crazy. Just show me is all I'm saying, B-Bird.
Yeah. So the reason why is because so it's based off something. I don't know if I heard it here, but I heard it from a content creator. The Joneses always want to sell hope in him. And running this thing back in totality is not hoping him. Mm-hmm. We're not excited about this. We're not going to be excited about getting a 30-year-old player. We're not going to be excited about. We need actual NFL players that
rookies ain't saving you. Is what you're saying?
That's right. It's not. And so and the thing about it is, man, we all like Big Game James right now. You got to show us. You know what I'm saying? It's just like we're not falling for the Kool-Aid. And more people are jumping on that too, right? And so I think he really has to do something. And again, they want to win, but they really want to sell hope. They want Cowboys fans to be hopeful going into the season, and they know they got a job ahead of them to get that because you're running the same thing back.
I think you are. That's a fair assessment for one of them. You could just take a guess who that one is.
Yeah.
The other one, though, that's the one that's tough because he cared about his precious pie, brother. Oh, he cared about it, man, and it would literally have to be such a 180. See, remember when we brought up the Gilmore and Cooks trades, that wasn't new. No. They've done this before. They've traded for Hankins. They've traded for Quinn.
Yeah.
They've done this before, but going out and spending more than $5-6 million in free agency on guaranteed money, that would be very new. That has not happened since Brandon Cooks. And who keeps reminding us, or not Brandon Cooks, Brandon Carr, who keeps reminding us every single year, B-Bird, about that deal? Every year. Who keeps doing it?
Yeah.
Stephen Jones. So that part of, if he came out and did it, that part would be shocking. If Jerry said, F you, Steven, that wouldn't be shocking. But Steven doing it, that would definitely be pleasantly surprising. Let me say that.
Now I'll tell you this, and we glance over things like the Brandon Carr trade and Steven still having PTSD from that. But the thing about it is it really goes to our structure. What I mean by that is you shouldn't be around long enough to have scars from that trade.
Oh, hold on, wait a minute. Wait. You can't just say that. Have you said that elsewhere?
I said it before a long time ago, but yeah, that's part of it, right?
No,
yeah.
That's a goddamn bar. Please, one more time. I'm gonna shut up, turn all the music off. Everybody put their listening ears on. Say that again.
Stephen Jones, you shouldn't be around long enough to still have PTSD from the Brandon Carr trade. I don't even know what year that was. But if you're normal GM cycles, you're not there that long to be suffering from that.
I'll tell you when it was. 2010, if I'm not mistaken. 10 y'all?
Yeah.
10?
So you still going back to a free agent acquisition, which is the only one you made since then, and you're still hurting from that. But you shouldn't even be here. Even Super Bowl winners GMs are not there anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's this cycle that goes and then you go somewhere else. So let me tell you this, man. I'm sorry.
2012. 12 years ago.
Yeah.
I digress.
Yeah. So part of it, I'm known for culture guy, but one of the things I'm kind of going to also is structure. Part of it is, man, is that the GM that's supposed to put the team together without in mind with the salary cap. Part of it is that the GM and the personnel guys, it's their money.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave this analogy the other day, and I'll give it to you, and I'll get off. I gave it on Boss Show. Me and my wife bought this beautiful house, but we have not decorated it the way it should be. And the reason why is because we go look at nice decoration. We want it to be like a model home. That stuff costs money. I'm like, man, I ain't paying that much for that couch.
Yeah.
So we'll go get something lesser. And then I'll go in and say, well, how much that painting cost? Oh, no, I'm not doing that. So we'll go get something lesser. And then we keep getting lesser and getting lesser and getting lesser. And then we say, why this don't look like the model home? Okay. So what we did is my wife said, hey, look, I found this interior decorator on Instagram. So the interior decorator came out and said, oh, yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do this. And so she sends us stuff. And I'm like, look at that price. Look at that price. And the lady just pulled me to the side and said, hey, look, sir, if you want your house to look like something, then you're going to have to spend a little bit of money. And so it's all going to look cheap. And so what I had to do is I had to give my vision, I want my house to look nice, to someone that's not really attached to the money. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So they just said, no, all I know is to make your house look good. And, we're going to figure the other part out later on. But we can't be going to Walmart getting stuff and all that kind of stuff. Your house ain't going to look good. What it is that the GM is kind of like I was. Like, I'm looking at the money. Because this is my money. This is my savings I got going out. But the interior decorator ain't attached to my money. It ain't no feelings about the money. They just try to get the job done. So what a GM really does is try to put a great football team on the field.
Yeah, because if you're
worried about the money,
if you're interior director or interior, what'd you call her? What'd you say she was?
Decorator.
You're interior decorator. I'm sorry. If she comes back and she brings back a bunch of terrible items or products or whatever, you're gonna fire her.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Because I say I can do that my damn self. You know what I'm saying? I hired you to, and so what I'm saying is, with the Joneses, it being their money, right? They be like, oh, wait, how much that guy cost? But a regular GM not really worried about that. He's worried about filling the best team. Why? Because my job is attached to this team. Mm-hmm. Wins and losses, championships, this, that, and other. If that doesn't happen, then I'm not going to be here. The structure of our team, we got the top front office are all mom and pop. They're attached to their money. Everything matters to them because they're attached to their money. You need to get somebody in there that's not attached to the money to make some of these decisions. That's why we don't have any free agents. Because I'm not going to go. And no repercussions happen from it because the accountability is not there. Yeah. The accountability comes when you can lose your job.
Yep.
If you can't lose your job, there's no accountability.
Straight up.
So you had a job.
He quite literally came out, Jerry, and was like, hey, we're going to go as far as Dak goes. Nothing has changed. And he kept saying it. We're going far as Dak. We're going far as Dak. We're going far as Dak. And that's what we did, went far as Dak. And in my head, I'm like, you just literally let your entire organization off the hook for one guy. That's what you just did. You just publicly told every other 61 other dudes on that team, 24 coaches, the scouting staff, the general manager, the president, the owner, all of that got let off the hook because you said, well, we're just going to go as far as that one man. What other owner has come out and publicly stated, we're going to go as far as one person? I've never heard that before. And he's done it multiple times. That's accountability that you're not putting on the rest of the organization.
Well, the reason he can do that is because his job doesn't rely on it. You think about a GM that has a franchise quarterback that's going at his franchise quarterback like that. He can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like the Joneses structure allows them to do some things, man, that other teams can't do. It has checks and balances in it because, again, at the end of the day, if I don't do my job correctly, I'm going to get fired. So if I got this franchise quarterback says Jordan Love, I gotta handle him with kid gloves. Why? Because if I get into it with him, I could be gone because I'm more expendable than the franchise quarterback. But in the Joneses structure, they're not. They can just say whatever they want to. They can actually. I don't know, but 2 quarterbacks, franchise quarterbacks, that has ever been negotiated in the media. The quarterback out of for the Chargers, what was his name again? I'm sorry,
Herbert.
I skipped my mind. Man, Herbert signed his contract. I didn't even hear they was in negotiations.
Oh yeah, nah, you ain't hear nothing, no.
I ain't hear anything.
Jaylen,
all it was
Hurts.
$250 million. Never heard it. But the only 2 I heard was Lamar Jackson, and Dak Prescott. Every time Dak Prescott comes up, it's him. And then so, but they can do that because why? Because we're not going to get fired for this. We can do some unscrupulous things. We're not getting fired. I'm not firing myself. So we can do some of these things and get away with it. That's why another thing too, Scott, and I'm gonna let you go after this because other people are on. But that's why they negotiate hard in the media with these guys. And what ends up happening, what our guys do is say, hey man, if they all about the bread and they're gonna negotiate hard like that, I'm all about my bread too. Man, I ain't got no love. I'm just here to make my money. And then you start saying 53, 54 brands, that's where it comes from because it comes from up top, man.
100%.
Yeah. And so I'm gonna let you go, man. One thing before I go to ask you, you can ask offline. Did you discuss that Detroit phone call yet?
Yes, yeah, we talked about it yesterday in the roundup.
Oh, I missed the show yesterday. Okay.
Yeah, I kind of went on a little rant about these are the people that we talked about blowing it up because a lot of fans want to just blow it up, and I'm like, I don't think y'all understand. These are the people that you trust in rebuilding a team completely from scratch. They've never shown the ability to do it. The 2 times that this franchise has been completely rebuilt was on the backs of 2 people who had control, Jimmy Johnson and Bill Parcells. They will never, clearly they're showing you, they'll never do that again because they don't want to relinquish that control. So if you want to blow it up, cool, blow it up, but you're going to have to get the management up out of here and get new management, and that's not happening. So you trust a team of an owner who says, hey, we're doing our jobs, we're being talked about. You trust a general manager in Stephen Jones who doesn't even know who players are when they're called or doesn't pick up phones or ask his advisor during draft day who talks about pie all the time. And y'all trust them? That's on y'all. I don't. So in my opinion, I think the Cowboys need to stack on top of a good team that they have and try to win in spite of them and not build trust to have belief that we're just going to, everybody wants to trade Dak, cut Micah Parsons, get rid of let CeeDee Lamb, trade this and trade that. But y'all are putting your hope and faith in them rebuilding it to get to this point. Not me. No, sir.
And I tell you what, man, I've taken the stance that it's only certain, like Michael Gallup, okay, we need to move on from him. I'm not blaming any players for last year before I'm blaming front office, right? And I'm not blaming any players before I blame culture. They all brought up in this culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if somebody come and tell me, man, we got to trade Dak. So what? We didn't win with Dak? No, we didn't win with Romo. Do you know we've had 2 Pro Bowl quarterbacks, and we only gave up 1 4th-round draft pick for both of those guys? You give anybody 14 years or 15 years of Pro Bowl quarterback play for 1 4th-round draft pick, any GM should be able to get you to the championship game.
Come on, man.
I mean, that's what it is. People are killing themselves, cutting up their arm for a quarterback, and you've had Tony Romo,
and look,
and you got
they done tripped into him. It wasn't even like this was strategically trying to get they done fumbled and stumbled and bumbled their way into it, and they anyway.
that is bad. I mean, when you get those kind of quarterbacks, you should at least make 3 or 4 NFC championship games, right? but we haven't done it. And so it is what it is, man. But one thing too about that Detroit call, I know if Boss is listening. Boss said last night he don't believe it. He think it's cap. It just falls in line with everything else that Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones has done, being uninformed, leaning on Will McClay and all that kind of stuff, but doing all the press conferences and everything. Of course, Stephen Jones, he's not a football guy. Why is he going to know about football players?
He's not. Yeah, I believe it. I mean, maybe it's blindly believing it. Obviously, I don't see why KT would. Was it KT? I think it was KT. Why would he would have the reason to lie, especially when he didn't divulge all the information? And like you said, we are talking about borderline incompetency at the general manager position. That wouldn't shock me at all if that was true.
That's par for the course, right?
Par for the course.
That's just what it is. Man. Hey, look, I'm gonna let you go, man. I'm gonna continue to listen to the show. I appreciate the time, brother.
I appreciate you. I should have played this in the background as he was spitting. Because B. Bird was over there spitting, man. Salute. My bad. I forgot I was live. My bad. Hey, let me tell you. Y'all don't know, man. Hove. Forgot I was live. I was about to sit here and vibe out. Let me vibe out real quick. It's the Cowboys, man. If you know how I make all these hype videos, all these, these other. If you make a hype video for the Cowboys, you got to play this over. This got to be your theme. It's politics as usual, man. All right. One more, and we're going to finish up these wide receivers. Promise. 443, what it is, what it do?
Yeah. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. Special K, we ain't getting paid today, Special K. Well, how you doing this morning, man?
I'm doing okay.
I think you got me. You might have to turn down your crib. I can hear the echo in the background. Can you hear me, or are you listening through your TV?
Yeah, give me 1 second here.
All right.
Yeah, man, I'm just sitting here listening to all the Michael Gallup talk. And to me, I like Gallup. He's a good player, but I don't blame what he's done on him, basically. The whole narrative with the Cowboys is, man, they rush their players back for whatever reason. I have no clue.
Sure.
But all you got to do is look at Turnstile, man. Look at his year.
Yeah.
His year was horrible. That's because they tried to rush him back from an ACL, man, and you just can't do that. You can't do that. You got to let them guys heal. I guarantee you, if you ask RG3 what it does if you get rushed back, and he'll tell you it ends your career. The playoffs, to me, the only receiver that showed up was Gallup. I mean, that Tolbert, I like Tolbert, but Tolbert he's still a ways off, man. He's a ways off. He gets too many penalties on blocking assignments. He definitely drops too many passes. I believe he can be good in Mike McCarthy's system, but I think he just has a ways to go.
So what are you saying? You're saying bring back Michael Gallup?
I would say let him come back, but adjust his deal. Because
how many passes you think Jaylen? How many passes you think Jaylen Tolbert dropped?
You just go back to the Amari Cooper thing, man.
No. I'm asking. I'm talking about Jaylen Tolbert. How many passes you think Jaylen Tolbert dropped?
He didn't get a lot of targets. I can say that he didn't get as much as he should have gotten. But
Yeah, he had 35 targets. He dropped one ball.
He dropped one ball?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he had a higher quarterback rating when targeted than Michael Gallup did. Yeah.
Well, to me, Michael Gallup just wasn't getting open, man.
Right. Yeah. How many penalties you think Jaylen Tolbert had? Because you said he get a lot of penalties.
I'm saying he didn't have a lot because he didn't have a lot of blocking assignments, but he probably had like 3.
Yeah,
I think he had like about 3 penalties.
Yeah, I mean, he played a lot of snaps. I mean, if he had 3 penalties in over 500 snaps, I wouldn't necessarily say that's a lot, but you know.
I mean, but you got to understand now, for him playing over 300 snaps and him having blocking assignments, that's completely different.
Right. Guess how many penalties he had though, bro?
He had none. I think he had 2 holding penalties.
Nah, he had 0.
I think he had 2 holding penalties.
Nah, he had none, bro. Yeah, he
didn't have any holding penalties.
No, sir. He had no penalties called, period, on him.
Yeah, I got to research that.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I hear what you're saying on Gallup getting rushed back and whatnot. And you're right, it's not on him, and you say, redo the contract and all that stuff. We might be opposite sides in the sense of I don't think from a ability standpoint it'll be hard to replace him. In fact, I think you can do it with guys on the roster or a drafted guy. If you think the only way I think you keep Gallup around is if you think he cannot be replaced. That's how I look. If you think, hey, I can't replace Gallup, then we keep him around. Do you think the Cowboys can replace him?
No. Yeah, I think the Cowboys can replace him, but listen to this too. I also think the Cowboys can replace Cook.
Ooh,
I also think
we about to talk about Brandon Cook. Okay. You don't like Brandon Cooks?
I mean, I like Brandon Cooks.
Yeah.
I like Brandon Cooks. Don't get me wrong. I like Brandon Cooks, but if we're talking about improving, we can definitely improve in that category.
So let me just make sure I got this right on you, brother. Keep Michael Gallup, replace Brandon Cooks.
No, I'm not saying it like that. Like, okay, we can't replace him. Yes, we can replace Michael Gallup. But what I'm saying is, it's a whole lot on that team that really shouldn't even be there.
Okay.
Like, I love our safeties, but the safeties I'm talking about is Bell, Wilson. You understand what I'm saying? I love Bell and Wilson.
Yeah, Bell need to go back to safety, 100%. Yeah.
I mean, they can't develop because you're bringing in Hooker, you're bringing in Curse, and they're eating up the snaps. Now we got these young guns at safety.
Yeah.
And believe me, had they been playing from the start, they would be at the top right now. To me, looking at their overall production and what they're doing.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that.
I believe they would be at the top of the class.
We're gonna get to that group. I got some strong opinions. I think a lot of people do on some of these young bucks that let's keep it a beam. Politics as usual. With some politics being played in that safety room for sure, man.
Yeah, man. See, I've been a Cowboy fan since the 70s, bro. I live in Baltimore. I've been a Cowboy fan since Calvin Hill and those guys were there. Mm-hmm. Hollywood Henderson rookie year and stuff like that. So, like back then the Cowboys were the Cowboys. Now, this didn't happen. I'm not going to say earlier in Jerry's ownership days because in the beginning it was fine. But once he seen all the credit that Jimmy Johnson was getting, he couldn't take that, man. And that destroyed the Cowboys.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. That's Cowboys, when you talk about Cowboys history. That's something you're gonna have to bring up, man, when it's all said and done. But what's your name, man?
My name's Tim.
Tim, appreciate you, Tim. Where you from? Let me put you in here.
Baltimore.
Tim, somebody asked.
Baltimore, Maryland.
Somebody said. Somebody asked in the chat too. Is he from Baltimore? And yes, he is, man. Tim from Baltimore, man. Hey, Tim.
I'm from Baltimore,
at least Baltimore. I don't know if you go to the games or not down there, but at least they had a little better season than we did. So,
yeah, I mean, whenever they local, when I can get there, like the Commanders. I was about to say something else, but it's the Commanders. Like when they go to Commanders, Giants.
Hey Tim, when I go to Baltimore sometimes, especially because I fly into Baltimore and I usually go to the Horseshoe. I play some poker down there. It's the Horseshoe, right? Ain't that the right one? Or Maryland Live. That's where I go. Maryland Live. And I watch the games, and I always forget because I think I'm in Baltimore Ravens country. Nah, you for real in Washington football people country, and I be forgetting that they right there next to each other. There's a whole lot of them. It just never dawns on me till I get there. But when I go watch the games, the Commander fans is out there. Yeah.
You gotta take into consideration the length that where Baltimore didn't even have a team. Once the Colts had left, we were without a team until the Browns came.
Till the Browns came. Yep. And they moved them out in the Mayflower? Ain't that the Mayflower? They took them out in the middle of the night.
Yep.
Yeah.
Late at night. They snuck out on the Mayflower. Yes, sir.
Man. Hey, appreciate you, Tim. Good call.
Yeah, no problem. But I will say this too, man, before I go, man. I want to see more of Tolbert, man. I really do, man. I think Tolbert can do a lot of magical things in that slot, man.
Yeah, I do. I definitely want to see more Tolbert too. 100%.
I mean, not Tolbert, Turpin. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that confused.
I really like Turpin.
It's like, did you just come at Turpin?
That's the one.
Yeah, Turp. Yeah,
I love Turpin, man. I love Turpin.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
All right, bro.
Thought Tim did a 180 on me with the Tolbert. Yeah, I think we all want to see a little bit more Turp, man. Turp got 12 receptions. I'd like to see that get up there like 20, 25, 13. All right, about 25 touches, at least that. Shouts out to BLS in the building. She said, you better have your notes ready when you call it. Look, I'm held accountable for what I say. So sometimes I just got to make sure we know what we saying here. I was like, damn, Tolbert got penalties? I don't remember many. Let me go. Oh, Tolbert was dropping the ball. I remember one. Go. Yeah. He brought up Cooks, though. He said we could replace Cooks. So before I get into that aspect of it, let's just kind of review Brandon Cooks' season, man. I thought Cooks was good for the Cowboys, man. Really good for the Cowboys. Good for the Cowboys on the field and off the field. I thought he was a nice complementary piece of this offense once he got established. Right? This is a veteran that is comfortable in his shoes. And he came up big a lot for the Cowboys. You talking about clutch catches against Seattle, Miami, the Chargers, Detroit. That damn 7 route to the corner was almost undefeated this year, y'all. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Cooks lines up in the slot. We at about the 15, 20-yard line, and he run that pylon route, touchdown. Almost every time. Almost every single time. But not just, on the field, but off the field as well, or on the sideline, the guidance, the leadership. Like, I think that was heavy for Cooks. Y'all remember this?
Keep going. Think about this. If he pressing me on a motion and your ass just force out, I'm talking about that ugly, I'm going inside touchdown. Hey, all good. We haven't got that look, but now we know. Keep going, baby. Keep going, Luke.
See, I don't think we have that outside of Brandon Cooks. And I think that is important. Y'all know, if you've been around me, if you've been listening for a number of years, I always hearken back to when Brian McFadden was on the show. Now, this is going way back. I still even got the video. And I was looking for some veteran leadership in specific room. He was talking about DB. And then once the Cowboys got rid of Amari Cooper, which a lot of people never spoke on this, but Cooper was big as a veteran for a guy like CeeDee Lamb. When he left, and it left Lamb in charge, or as the seniority in that room, I was like, ooh. Talking about a guy that got 2 years of experience. He's still maturing. He's still trying to figure out this league. What can he tell? He can't tell these dudes much of anything. We need to bring somebody in this room, and not just anybody, but a guy that can be productive for you. And I thought Cooks was a fantastic addition. I gave the front office a hat tip for that. But it took a while, though. It took like the first month of the season. Y'all remember the first 4 weeks of the season? We couldn't figure it out with Cooks. Cooks was trying to find his way in this, and at that point in time, it was a weird ass offense. He was trying to find his way. And when Dak would target Cooks, he had a 40.3 quarterback rating. when targeting Cooks in those first 4 weeks. It wasn't good, man. But from then on, those last 12 weeks, when Cooks played, because he only played, I should say, the first 4 games, the last 12 games, 115 quarterback rating when targeting Brandon Cooks. Ended up finishing the season in the top 10, believe it or not, in touchdowns. Now, it wasn't a huge yardage year, wasn't a huge reception year, but again, taken into context, really didn't get going until week 6. Those first 6 weeks, Brandon Cooks was kind of just figuring these things out. Now, he has an extra year on the deal, so I'm not even really remotely close to thinking about moving on from Brandon Cooks because, again, I think he's a player. Apologies here. I think he's a player that is comfortable in his shoes, meaning Cooks, no, I ain't got to be wide receiver 1. Hell, I'm not even saying that he'd be okay with not being wide receiver 2 because he spoke out about this. Remember when he was going through his struggles, they was baiting Cooks, man. Hey, you upset? You mad? Why ain't you getting the rock? You want to throw a temper tantrum? And Cooks is like, yeah, relax, man. I'm good. Listen, time out. I've been where CD is when he's upset. I've been upset before as a young buck. That did me no good. I know what I could bring to this team, and I will bring it. I'm going to continue to remain patient, continue to work hard, and continue to, be available for my quarterback and go out there and give you the best I can give you here. And we're going to figure it out. Relax. Why y'all want me to throw furniture in here? I'm not doing that. I've been there. And I'm telling CD that. Right? Because remember, we'll get to the CD in a second. You remember the whole thing with Lamb, and he had, hey, come here, bro. This thing get figured out. And it got figured out, man. And after week 5 or 6, whatever it was, man, Cooks was extremely clutch for this team. So I wouldn't be looking to move on from Cooks, no way. It doesn't cost you much next year. He's vital as a veteran in that room, and obviously he still has ability. I don't necessarily know that I keep running him on that damn whip. I hated that whip route. I think it was a poor route. That threw the interception in that game, but I don't look at Cooks in that manner. That's a route that Lamb was running all year. I don't look at Cooks, like a Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley, boy, that dude is like Gumby with that route. Unbelievable. Let Cooks move, Let Cooks threaten you with his speed. Definitely a place on this team for Cooks, in my opinion, Cowboys Nation. Not that I expect this to go a different way, but I am curious. Are we in or out on Cooks returning to the Cowboys in 2024? I am 100% in. I think he's going to be helpful for whatever young buck you bring in here, and also for the guys like Turpin and Brooks and Tolbert, and yes, even CD Lamb, because I still think CD Lamb needs this type of guidance as he continues to develop in the league. We in, right? And if you are out, obviously, like I always ask, what are your reasonings? Now, as a caller assistant, my guy Tim from B-More, that does not mean that you can't replace Cooks. Right? You're going to have to spend some money to do it, probably. You're going to have to make another type of trade to do it, probably. But I think his value doesn't just come from what he does on the field, and there's value there, clearly, right? Like he showed there was value, but also off the field. Cooking. And then there's our guy, C.D. Lamb. One for the record books, man. He had a year for the record books. But much like this offense, in that first half of that Green Bay game, boy, that came to a screeching halt. Came to a screech. Like we know how it goes. The infamous disconnect between him and Dak and Mike McCarthy, and it was ugly, man. It was ugly to start that game for everybody. It was shocking, honestly, at home to see such disconnect. And it got to a point where it was like, all right, man, we got to get him back in the game, and possibly to a fault. Y'all remember how it went at the end of the second quarter, going into the 2-minute warning? You saw an incomplete pass. There was already back and forth between Dak and CD and Mike McCarthy. And literally going into the 2-minute warning, there was an incomplete or something like that, right? And Dak and them were like, hey, my bad. Oh, you pressed it. Hey, man, I need you to do this. Go out. It was more disconnect. The very first play coming out of the 2-minute warning. The Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb had no receptions at that point. Cowboys run a triple slant. Dak Prescott, you just kind of felt it, right? He going to CD. Darnell Savage knew he was going to CD too. Forces the ball to CD, completely missing Brandon Cooks here. Terrible decision. Pick 6 to the crib. Pretty much puts a bow on maybe the worst first half of football I've ever seen the Cowboys play. And it happened in a playoff game. What a shitty way to essentially end an historic season. But it was a historic season. When you go back and look at the season, and like I said with Brandon Cooks, he wasn't the only one that was getting questions about his usage. You know, the first 4 games, Lamb had 1 touchdown. 1 touchdown, 1 100-yard game. Coming out of that first 5 games, I think, actually. Coming out of that San Fran game, everything was Lamb is upset. He's mad. What's going on? He had a talk with Mike. Mike came out with the infamous, hey, I got to cut Dak loose. Next thing you know it, Dak's cut loose and Lamb goes berserk. And yes, I mean berserk. Ended up finishing the season with a top 10 all-time year at the position. To be more specific, number 9 all-time in most receiving yards in the NFL history. Now, one of the most telling stats, though, that obviously got flipped upside down on his head in the Green Bay game because of the interception, was actually an interception stat. Y'all remember in 2022, all the picks going towards Lamb. Same thing was happening in 2021 a little bit. 2021, 2022, between Dak and Cooper Rush, there were 10 interceptions thrown when targeting CeeDee Lamb, 10 of them. In 2021, and this is just regular season we're talking about. You count postseason, there's more. It was 1 interception. And I think that's more so a testament to the scheme. Again, we talk about the scheme being more inviting to receivers. It's a testament to all those damn option routes getting up out of there. And obviously the relationship between Dak and CD growing on the field because, you know, between the injuries, between CD and Dak, they didn't really have a full season. They technically played 3 years together, but there wasn't much like a full season there. So to see that number get dropped down by 90% is crazy. And I actually expect that to continue next year, year 2 into the Mike McCarthy offense. I'm not saying CD going to have another 1,700-yard season because if we're being completely honest, I don't know what the game plan was, y'all. I'm not going to go over this again. If you weren't here, you just missed it. But if we're being completely honest, you're going to need more input in those moments from others. You can't go into that game and saying, CeeDee Lamb or bust. 88-4 or bust. A lot of the season felt that way. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the season felt that way. Teams are going to try to take out guys. And I think we had that conversation, right? And that's why it was shocking to me in the playoffs because it's like, hey, whenever that has tried to happen in the playoffs at the crib, at the crib, others have stepped up. We've always had an answer for it, but there wasn't. CD had 18 targets, and again, granted, blowout, whatever, But look, if teams get into the offs, and teams say he's not going to beat us, we're going to need a better plan of attack. I'm not blaming the players, by the way. I'm not blaming these wide receivers. Now, obviously, Brandon Cooks, terrible route, whatever, right? And CeeDee Lamb. Look, bro, you dropped some passes, so I guess there is some blame. So I shouldn't say they're not blameless. Let me say that. But in regards to the plan, I'm not putting that on them. You got to have a better plan than that. You got to know that Joe Barry's going to come out there and try to take away CeeDee Lamb. And what happens if they do? Be nice to have a run game, but we the only team that believes that does not exist in the playoffs. And our fans eat it up. Well, everything has to be. No, everything doesn't have to be perfect. But damn, it'd be nice. A little bit better than this. It'd be nice, man. That's all I'm saying. I digress, man. That is our 2023 review of the Cowboys wide receivers. End of the day, I think this is a very encouraging room with room to grow technically, right? Obviously with guys in-house, Tolbert, Turpin, Brooks, and yes, even CeeDee Lamb. As great as he is, all pro, going to get the bag, all of that. We didn't even talk about his contract. Still room to grow there. But there's also room to grow with adding guys to it, whether it be through the draft or possibly free agency. But I don't even think you really need to touch it in free agency, honestly. I think in the draft, though, you can add another piece to potentially have a role in this offense. If not in 2023, and the only way you ain't having a role in offense in 2023 is if you draft a wide receiver outside the top 3 rounds. You go outside the top 3 rounds, yeah. But if you get one in the top 3 rounds, they should probably have some type of role. But I like the room. I think this room is going to be leaned upon again. Until proven otherwise. And I know old Jerry came out and said the ish we've been saying all goddamn year that, hey, man, you got to be better on the ground. We got to be more efficient. It's one-dimensional shit. I know we want to put the cape on 4 and 88, but it'd be nice to be more efficient on the ground. And you got to be able to stop the run in those moments. And he brought that up. He said that the Cowboys are going to operate in that manner. We shall see. That's all I can say about that. We shall see. All right, MJ. Hold up one second. Bada bing, bada. There we go. Appreciate you holding tight there, MJ. How you feeling this morning?
I'm doing good. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. What's on your mind?
Just watching the show on the screen. You made some good points, everybody. I just, you know how I feel. If the players don't get put in the right position and win, you're gonna lose. I don't care who you are. You could be like everybody complaining, but
yes, it's tough to ask all your players to play hero ball.
Yeah. Y'all, when y'all was saying Brandon Carr, it wasn't Brandon Carr. They panicked when he signed Ken Hamlin, paid him all that money from Seattle, and he came hurt and did that. But you gotta remember, we could pay a lot of money back then at that.
Ken Hamlin was already on the team, though. Ken Hamlin actually outperformed his, if I remember correctly, he made the Pro Bowl and they paid him. Brandon Carr wasn't on the team. They paid Brandon Carr as a true legitimate free agent. And your boy, you that's your boy Steven. Your boy Steven, every year, Marv, he come out and say, well, we can't do it because look what happened with Brandon Carr, as if Brandon Carr was some outrageous con. It really wasn't. But that's what he does.
He just talking, that's what he does. He likes to talk just to talk. That's him. You gotta get used to Steven. You know what I'm saying? I'm used to him. A lot of people ain't used to him. I'm used to him. He just be talking. You gotta remember, they got Will. That's what's saving the Cowboys. It's not Jerry. Jerry do all the GM and the owner, and his son do the money. But they be in there fussing, him and his son. But Will, that's y'all GM. That's y'all making the decisions.
He ain't the GM, Marv. I'm always correct people when they say that to me.
No, I'm saying he ain't the GM, but he your boy make the pay. Jerry's not picking them players, brother. I put $1,000 on that.
No. I'm not saying.
I'll bet you on that.
I'm not saying Jerry Pickett. Jerry ain't watching no film. What I'm saying is general managers' jobs are to hire the coach, do extensions, sign free agents, and put a draft together. That ain't what Will McClay is doing. Will McClay is told, this is the types we want. You give me the list of these players, and he has no say in these extensions. Like, he ain't got no say in no money. That's Steven. This is all Steven. That's all
that's
Steven.
Steven right
He's their advisory.
That's all Steven right there.
He's the advisory, but he does not have the true role of a general manager. Because if he did, he'd have the ability to be fired and the ability to hire coaches. He don't have either of those abilities.
Because I know Jerry ain't picking the players.
Nah.
So you would have had the quarterback from Texas A&M.
No.
And you would have had the star quarterback.
Yeah, Marv. The issue with Jerry ain't about Jerry putting together a team. That's not the issue. Like,
no, I'm talking about the money. Stephen Jones do the money.
Yeah, Stephen Jones does the money. Jerry does hire the coaches, though. Jerry hires the coaches.
He hired his boys. You know, you got to give – that's his fault. He loves his boys. But his boys better start coaching or we ain't going to never win that. And that defensive coordinator, I'm just still – I told you earlier in the season, I used to tell Law.
You did.
I said, even you asked me. I said, man, I do not like Coach Quinn because he pissed me off when he got rid of all them big D tackles for them small guys because he want to get up the field. And and then get rid of his linebackers. He had big linebackers that was fast, but he want to play safety. Until he fixed that, I don't care who you got. You ain't going nowhere.
Gosh, bro. I'm just happen to see a notification that popped up. I'll bring it up here in a second more. But yeah, man, we got some things to work on, brother. We do.
We do. Now in the receiver role, the kids, you got to let Gallup go. You got so many receivers. You got the white boy that's coming back. That
But he off of the ACL, Mark. We can't really expect much, right?
Oh no. Okay, well he on ACL. You ain't got to worry about him.
Yeah.
So they got like you say, you already got a good room. Brooks gonna come. It's time for Brooks 18 to come on, and they gonna come. But McCarthy got to get the right scheme and let number 3 go downfield, man. Let them other guys run them routes.
I would say this. Yeah, I would say this, brother. On that, that was not a good. I think it was Kurt Warner who broke it down. I just think it was poor design in that play, having him do that whip route. But I'm with you. Let Cooks use his momentum downfield. Don't have him do that. You need a bigger body doing that. Because look what happened. I think if that's a bigger body right there, that's an incomplete pass or a catch.
Or a catch. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I didn't
stop doing that.
Yeah, I thought that was a poor design there. If anything, he should have just ran and out, not a whip route.
You remember in one time, I think was that a playoff game, and we had Terry Glenn. Shout out to Terry Glenn.
Rest in peace to Terry Glenn. Yeah.
Yeah, remember they threw that in the end zone, and he fumbled, and he got.
Against Seattle. See, nobody talk about that. We all talk about Tony fumbling, but Terry Glenn fumbled in the back of the end zone, resulted in a safety or a touchback. Yeah.
That should have been to Terrell Owens. What the hell are you doing that to?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, something I always go wrong with it. Like, I'm like, man, we be coming.
Yeah, we don't.
Stupid stuff.
It's like we don't really get the breaks. It's like, look, we play the Packers. They catch all the interceptions. They go play the 49ers. They dropped every single easy ass interception that hit them in the head.
They overthrew the players. Oh my God! Then he throws the interception off his back foot.
It's like, golly. Where was these crazy back foot interceptions from Jordan Love and these drop picks against us? They took all that to the grave. Yeah, man.
And they laugh, man. They having a field day.
Yeah, man.
Fun. And that's what I'm saying. That's what made me mad about some of them players. They choke every time.
And you can't escape it. I don't think they can escape those allegations anymore, man. Yeah.
2006. That's what I say. I don't want these players coming here acting like they got it going. Nah, man.
But that's the culture. That's the culture your boy Steven and them built, though.
But I don't want to hear that.
The last time that's the truth. The last time the coaching.
If you hire me, I gotta do my job, Steve.
Well, wait. That's different. That's different. Them dudes ain't out there not trying to do their job. You talking about what you're talking about is culture. And the last time it wasn't like that was with Bill Parcells. Bill Parcells got up in here and he shipped everybody out that he ain't want. And he said, stars on the helmet. Now, you're going to earn that. Now, they still technically doing that, but I think that's fugazi. That's for show. But Bill legitimately said, no, you're going to earn the star. Point blank, period. Change the culture. And then Jerry said, I had enough. I'm back meddling. I'm going to sign Terrell Owens. And that's what Bill said. Oh, word, I'm out. And that was the last of it.
Yeah. Yeah, when he got when he got T.O. changed that off. T.O. was a beast for the Cowboys.
I'm not. Look, I like T.O. and sure, but I mean, what do you prioritize more? A beast in T.O. or building a championship organization?
Yeah, you got to build it. But they, like I tell everybody else, I always say y'all complaining. Let me bring up some teams to you. You want to be Atlanta or Dallas? The Crickets. You want to be the Jets or Dallas? Crickets.
Well,
there's a lot of teams.
I mean, that's easy.
Complain.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
look.
You gotta stop complaining.
You can't tell fans not to be angry and annoyed and complain. Bro, the season just ended. They can complain. The fans can complain, but you can't complain forever. I get that, right? We gotta move forward and talk about draft and building and things like that. But to say you can't complain and say, would you rather be this team or that team? What are we asking those questions for? Does anybody jumping ship? The only person you should ask that question to, Marv, is a legitimate bandwagon fan. Is anybody in this chat a bandwagon fan? If not, that question means nothing. Because we're not jumping ship. We're here. And we want more and expect more from our team. I don't give a damn what Atlanta or the Jets are doing. They probably don't even have a bunch of expectations because their teams, they're trash. We don't have a trash team. So we expect more. So unless you're a bandwagon fan, ask a bandwagon fan that. We ain't going nowhere. So I don't care what the Jets or Atlanta's doing, Marv.
Yeah, but I think it's a lot of bandwagon fans for the Cowboys.
All right, well then ask the bandwagon fans that, sure.
Because they like, to me, I don't like making excuses. If you put me on that field, we gotta try to win, man. That's point down blank. If you put me on the field,
so when
coaches don't coach right, then
when does conversation shift back from everything's an excuse to literally talking about reasons and solutions?
The solution is you got to put the players in the right position to win.
Yeah.
Green Bay did. They almost beat San Francisco. They came to the Cowboy land and they might well
understand what I said, but yeah. All right, man. I feel you more.
That's the Green Bay field. I just don't. To me, man, I've never been an excuse guy, man. If I do it,
I asked a question.
If you put me out there, bro, I
asked a question, and this is my problem with fandom and football. It's been dumbed down to words like excuses, trash. I don't care. Like when has football become dumbed down to the context and nuance does not matter anymore? It's just this is all fans say excuses. What does that mean really? Because technically an excuse, we're talking about reasons. Reasons why something happened is not somebody saying we're off the hook for telling you why something happened. But y'all lean on the word excuse and leave it at that. When did this happen? Is this because of fantasy? Is this because of much talk radio? I don't get it. I don't get it. But it is okay to talk about why something happened. That's where the context comes in. And also say it can't keep happening. Something has to change, yada, yada, yada. But y'all lean on, that's just an excuse. Having a bad game plan, not being prepared to play, having a poor run game, throwing interceptions, those are excuses. No, those are reasons why your team did not win.
Yeah, we got our bubble. It just got destroyed.
I don't think you
heard. But the culture, like Law Nation said, Quinn was worried more about that job than coaching the players that day.
That's probably true.
I know. He ain't lying. I was like, man, this guy, every year they want to and this guy, man, is on coaching. Well, let him go on and be a coach, man. But yeah, we need better play calling from McCarthy. So I don't know what to, you know what I'm saying.
All right, Marv, we gotta land this plane, bro. We gotta land this plane.
Yeah, this is the second year. You better get a good running game and a good middle of that defense. And you still and you can't, like you say, you can't favoritism. You gotta let 24 in there, man. 24, you want to play corner? We're gonna give you a shot.
Marv, you going right down this rabbit hole. Appreciate you, Marv.
Yeah, good show, my brother.
Thank you,
man. The show, but salute to the Cowboys.
I said Marvin closing. He said, about to go down this whole roster. Yeah, man, I think we've dumbed down the game, and I tried not to. What I was trying to get at a long time ago, I saw a notification on my phone that popped up of Jerry and Bill Belichick, and I'm like, well, what's going on here? And I happened to go read this article, and who's asking this question, by the way? There were some questions I heard. Why, our beat writers sometimes. Anyway, Jerry Jones was asked what he respects generally about Bill Belichick. And Jerry said, I know him personally and I like him. There's no doubt in my mind we could work together. None. Why is that? Like, I don't quite remember the full extent, and I'm going to try not to judge too much without hearing the rest, but you have a head coach who you put the pressure on, and you're unprovoked. You said, there's no doubt in my mind we could work together. Boy. I think I'm playing. Hey, man. Is there any other team in the league that's their general manager is being asked about a head coach out there, and he like, oh yeah, we could work together, while their current coach is on the team? Boy, yeah, all right. Ew, man. All right, look into these super chats. I just, sometimes he leaves me speechless, man. Stop asking this man questions. Get the microphone about his face. You're doing more harm than anything. Stop asking Steven. Stop asking all these dudes. Make them show us. They just dig a hole. I hear you, Tom. Appreciate you, Dwayne. He dropped 10 and said Turpin can become another Deshaun Jackson once he learned the defense. Well, damn, that's a heavy one right there, man. D-Jack was something else. D-Jack was something. I know. I hate him as a player in the sense of as a rival, but I respected his game 100%. He was something, man. He was. If you've been following me around draft season, every time one of these wide receivers pop up that has this amazing ball tracking ability deep downfield, I always say he got that Deshaun Jackson ball tracking ability, because he was one of the best I've seen given his size pound for pound. Yeah, he wasn't going to go up and just mosh you all the time, but I mean, it was some times where Willie Mays type catches, and that's tough, man. That's really hard. And he would make those catches routinely downfield, and obviously he had dumb speed. But he also could run some routes, and D-Jack was tough, bro. He was tough. If he could turn into our D-Jack was like a wide receiver too. Everywhere he went, he ended up being a problem before, he obviously fizzled out the league. But from Philly to Washington, he was a thorn in our ass. But we eventually figured him out. But yeah, D-Jack was, hell, he went to Las Vegas and on Thanksgiving routed us up for a big touchdown. Yeah, he was a problem. He was a beast, man. Mike Wade said he was a straight beast. But if he could turn into D-Jack, I did hell of a comp. I love that. I love that. All right. Narcissism is a drug. Yeah, man. Love to hear him self-talk. Dallas media is something else. Dallas, they be, and I get it. Their job is to get a soundbite, get an article, and I ain't gonna name the name. Y'all just go watch the article. It's like when Jerry was doing the word salad, just saying all types of whatever. Well, how'd you think Dak played? How'd you think Dak played? How'd you think 3 times in a row? How'd you think Dak played? Mother, you know how he played. What can we ask a more challenging question? Well, I just think everybody had played terribly that day and wasn't a great game, or whatever Jerry said, right? What are we getting from Jerry Jones saying, Dak didn't play great? Nothing. That is something we already know. But you know what? And this is what pisses me off. Nick Harris, who does a fantastic job covering the team, and especially when it comes to these prospects. Nick Harris had to get pulled out of going to watch the prospects at the Senior Bowl. He couldn't report on other players because Jerry Jones' impromptu press conference. Nick said, I couldn't see XYZ because Jerry was over there and I had to go. We prioritize what the hell this Grim Reaper has to say over his employees covering players that can, report back to us and say, oh, this is what's going on. This player's looking like so-and-so, whatever. But now we got to go cover this impromptu dumbass press conference where he going to say a whole bunch of nothing. Okay. Tomorrow, be back at it. One more position this week, probably the last of it. We'll also have Pat on, who I don't think is down there. I wish he was. That'd have been perfect. Damn. I don't think he's down there at the Senior Bowl. And next week, we will definitely be talking more about the Senior Bowl. I actually might shift gears in regards to starting my free agency primer. And then I'll maybe we'll come back to the season review a little bit before free agency hits. But I do want to start getting into more of the off-season stuff. I know we are still licking our wounds, so that's why I'm giving the space to do so. That's basically what I was trying to get at, brother. The Crypt Keeper, not the Grim Reaper. All right, let me make sure we got the last of this one here. Oh, we did. Appreciate the $2 donations, guys. Or Toxic said we are the lost 24th season. I hear you, brother. I hear you. If we don't have any more shows this week for Vosh, but Vosh is still covering the Senior Bowl. So if you do want to keep tabs on what's happening down there in the Senior Bowl for your football sanity, Vosh got you covered. He covered the O-line breakdowns yesterday. Make sure to go check that out. Really, there's some really good stuff come out the Senior Bowl. Part of me was like, man, I just want to talk about that. But I'm going to get foots on. We're going to rap about it next week more about it. But if you are still into what's happening down there, obviously on Twitter, there's a lot going on, and then Vosh will keep covering it. So make sure y'all keep it locked on with my boy. And he got y'all, promise you. With that said,
push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
Catch y'all tomorrow. We'll probably pick this thing back up again. I might pivot. We're at that point in the off season where it's not quite the same routine as the season, but I'm gonna be here. Like I said, win, lose, or draw, I'm here for it all. Covering the Cowboys the way it should be. Got it. Love y'all. Peace.